Have I played Schubert?
Have I played Schubert?
Well, are you just imitating what I'm saying, or were we both? Do you anticipate that?
No.
What the hell is happening?
Sorry.
What are you doing? Are you mocking me? Okay, I'm gonna play Schubert today, and it's some of the most profound music imaginable. So don't laugh.
Okay. What Schubert is it?
It's the second movement from his very last piano sonata. Don't laugh. In B flat major, but this movement's in C sharp minor.
Okay.
And he's like dying. He contracted syphilis.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Now you're not laughing.
It's not the
As soon as
last
syphilis
thing.
comes up.
No, I was gonna say it's not the very last thing he wrote, but
I
it
don't
was
think
close to the end.
technically it's the very last thing he wrote, but it's one of his last major works that was written within 2 or 3 months of his death.
Okay.
And the whole piece, the last sonata in B flat, like, do yourself a favor and just listen to this entire thing, because it is, I mean, it's monumental. It's 45 minutes. It's a big piece, depending on the recordings and who takes the repeats. This one pianist, Richter, has a famously slow recording, so it's going to be even longer. But all these beautiful interpretations by incredible pianists. Yeah, D960, that's how they catalog his works. Just an expansive and patient and profoundly beautiful work. It covers, I think one of the reasons the second movement really, really speaks to me is because I think it covers all these aspects of life, and especially of mood, where it begins I'll just play the very opening. It begins in a really dark place in C sharp minor. With this kind of inevitable figure, you know, those C sharps that are just there throughout most of the piece. And there's this little duet going on, you know, but it's in a low register, and it's just, it just can't get out of what's happening. It's really depressed.
Right.
I mean,
the repeated figure really evokes that feeling of depression where, you know, you're trying to get out, but you're stuck in that
stuckness,
pattern. Yeah.
And inevitability, whatever you wanted to call it. And we'll get into the piece a little more, but it made me start thinking about just what is like this idea we kind of romanticize this idea of, oh man, like a composer is really depressed or in a really dark place, and that's when they create some of their most profound works. You know, it's just like, oh, I can't even move. But is that always true? Is that kind of a fallacy? You know, is that true in our lives? Do we feel the most creative when we're in an incredibly dark and painful period? Are we able to be just as productive and prolific when we're in a happy mood and when we're like just killing it and our energy is really high? How do you feel about that? It just, maybe even just in your own, anecdotally, in your own experience, how have you worked best?
Well, I don't really write music, so I can't speak to like maybe if I was a composer or a songwriter, I would be more inclined to like, when I'm depressed, like write a sad song or like, you know, like that kind of like music is just such a like direct thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the way I am creative, which is like writing jokes or writing with words, I can't be like in the depths of depression. I can be anxious, and I can be like sad. Like I can listen to something that makes me cry, and I'm emotional, and then I can do some work. But if I'm really depressed, like I'm not doing anything. I'm not creating anything of value in that moment.
And how would you? Let's just like really quickly. How would you? I mean, I think we both understand, but like, how would you define depression as opposed to like you're sad or something like that, where it's like if you're having an off day versus, okay, I'm stuck in the mud for weeks or months or years, you know? Right.
Well, if I'm crying, like even though it can be really painful, that kind of is moving through it. You know, like having like real, like specific feelings of like, I mean, any kind of stage, like if I'm really angry or if I'm crying, that kind of means like a corner is being turned. It might get worse, but something is going to change because something's being released, or intensified. But when sorry, my stomach's making noises.
It's okay.
But
all voices belong on the podcast.
Thank you. But when I'm really depressed, for me, that's where I could sit in one place and stare at a wall for a long time.
Yeah.
And
so it's more of an inaction feeling.
Yeah, it's like a numbness or a deadness, or just a weight. And in that space, like the best I can do is to push myself maybe to go for a walk or take a shower, you know?
Yeah, we were talking about this, like it's more, I mean, it's so easy for the mind to be under the spell of the body, so that if you're in a state of depression and it feels, your mind feels like there's no way out of this state, and actually the thoughts available to you in that depressed, like weighted state are limited.
Right.
You can't have access to curiosity. You can't have access to imagination necessarily when you're in a state of just like inevitable numbness or something.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the level of depression, because it can come for us all, and it's easy to say like, well, when I'm depressed, I just do the opposite. And it's like, okay, well, but maybe you haven't been
there are levels.
that because I've definitely had different levels where I've felt a little cocky, where I'm like, well, I get depressed sometimes, but then I just go for a walk and or I listen to a piece of music, and then I've gotten to the depths where I'm like, oh, I didn't know what I was talking about. Like, I'm not listening to anything right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is sort of one, I think the nature of feelings, even though they are not permanent, like there's a saying, feelings aren't facts. And like, feelings are always flowing. And when you're feeling really happy, you think, I'm going to feel like this forever, or I do at least. And then when I feel really sad, I think I'm going to probably feel like this forever. And it's what makes the feeling feel like a feeling, because if you can sense that it's fleeting, it's not really a full experience.
Well, and you don't have to identify with it,
right?
Like we're often a thought happens, and then we have a feeling, and then we feel like we're identified with that feeling, and that leads to a behavior. So it's kind of this thing of like, when you're in a state of depression, the best thing you could hypothetically do is just attempt. I don't know how. Usually it's from external force. Hopefully you have friends, or you have other outside sources that'll help you just change the state that you're in, rather than change your mind about it. Those people who are like, why don't you just work out 3 times a day and eat better? And well, have you done your list of things that? And it's like, if you're in the habit of doing that as a life raft for the state you're in, great. But most people have to build that, like almost like it's a physical, it's an action to be able to do all those things. And how do you get yourself to that action? It's a state of energy more than it is a state of mind.
Right. And I'm not a doctor, so I can't speak to like real clinical depression but if it's a circumstantial depression, like you're grieving and you've hit the depression state, sometimes it is also good to just honor that and just let yourself be depressed. Like sometimes I'll be like, let me like just get a bowl of junk food in front of me and like watch the shittiest TV I can think, like almost like get even more. And it kind of like lets me, I don't know, sometimes it can move me through it quicker.
Yeah.
By not fighting it.
You're at least acknowledging, you're showing a degree of awareness. And this was like, I got so into meditation, right? And that continues to help me to, understand that just awareing the thing, like if awareing were like a verb, where like to become aware of the thing, helps you with the state of mind. I was just telling you, I got like my haircut today. I swear to God, we're gonna get back to the music.
It looks really good.
But I got my haircut, and I don't like to be touched a lot. Like touching is not like my love language, you know.
What's your love language?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Mine's touch and words of affirmation. Not that you asked.
Okay. I seriously don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember.
We'll take the quiz later.
We'll take the quiz later together on the pod. But maybe it's just that I don't like being touched by this guy. Like
maybe he just makes you uncomfortable.
Maybe it's just the guy. Shit, you know. But I got my beard trimmed, you know, and he was like, you know, there was a lot of this, a lot of touching my face for long periods of time. And when I called up, I was like, hey, do you guys have a spot available? And they were like, yeah, but only from this guy he was only a year in. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's great. And I came, and it did take extra long was the only thing. And he was touching my face and my beard, and he was like, it was just a lot of like touching around my mouth. And I never get claustrophobic, but I started becoming claustrophobic, where my heart was beating faster and faster. And I was like kind of starting to hyperventilate a little bit. And I was like, I'm going to be fine, but I am really feeling this.
Yeah.
And I meditated. I was like, asked myself, where is this feeling in my body? Mm-hmm. Is it the right side of my body, the left side of my body? Is it in my heart? And the more I tried to focus on where it was in my body, the easier it was, the less I started breathing heavily, and the more I could control it. Mm-hmm. So I think we even talked about this in the last episode, but like awareness is just such a superpower, where like just being aware of what's happening is the ability to step outside of that dampened state, of that numbed mind, of that mind that's under the spell or control of the state that you're in,
right?
The energy state that you're in, and being able to say nothing, just to be aware, not to have an opinion about it, not to judge it, but just to be like, isn't that interesting? Or, okay, that is what my body's doing. So that you stop identifying with what your body is feeling and doing. And that gives you if anything, it gives you a little psychological relief. Mm-hmm. That you might have a chance in that moment to, let me go for a walk.
Right.
Let me get out of the house. Let me change my state. Let me call a friend. Let me do something I know is going to put me in a different state. Let me raise my arms. Let me just like do something that'll gain me access to a different set of thoughts.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Sometimes I'm like, you should call a friend right now. Like, you know, it'll make you feel better. And then I'm like, no, it won't. And then, and then sometimes I'll like call you.
I wish you would call me more, because I just wish everybody that I was close to would call me more, because I love talking to people I'm really close to. And
I call you.
You do. We talk.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, dude, I could do that every day. I mean, to me, that's like the meaning of life, is connection with people that, you know, you connect with and you love.
What else is there?
For me, that is what I value most, and it's what lights me up. Selfishly, look, it's what lights me up.
But I agree. I think you have the muscle to do it more. But sometimes I'll push through and I'll call you, and then the part of me is just like, damn it, that did make me feel better. Like there's a little part of you that's just like, fine.
Yeah.
But also, how lucky that it helped, you know? Yeah.
So you would say that you write generally, or you come up with jokes in a state away from depression or away from darkness.
It's like I have to be one step removed.
You got to be one step removed.
I have to be like, well, that happened, or like, okay, that's okay. But sometimes the act of creating brings me out of the depression or the severe anxiety I'm feeling. If I can come up with a joke about it, I can kind of like be like, oh, okay, I've changed my view on this. Yeah. Because now I have some ownership over it, and a positive thing has come out of it, especially a joke, because it's like making people laugh.
Well, if you can create a little space, then you can create a little reflection upon it, and then create the art even about it.
Right.
I mean, and maybe that is what's happening here. I mean, whatever. We're not going to overanalyze like what his intentions or life might have been like, but Schubert was depressed and he was an alcoholic.
Yeah, and died
he
at
had
31.
Incredible mood swings. He died at 31 from syphilis. That couldn't have been fun. That he contracted, I think, in like 1822 or something, just a few years before he died. But what's amazing about this piece is it cycles through almost like the stages of grief or something, because, and this is what Schubert does best, he's starting in a minor key and then gradually somehow gets to a major key in a miraculous way that is like a journey that feels like it's just the flip side of the same coin rather than the story of someone who conquers something. It's so much bigger than just the individual. So let me play a little bit. I'll play this first section for you and see if you can maybe feel the shift in the light, the shift in the soul that is that takes a perspective that feels like it'll never get out of this dark state and just shifts it enough to bring about something a little lighter or a little more hopeful. Stop there for a sec. That's the beginning, the middle section. So did you hear how it expanded out into something a little different and then it actually returned to that real darkness before moving on into like a totally new section where it feels like a new world opens up in the relative major key. So instead of that pedal point.
Well, yeah, and by going a little bit more major in that sort of still very static rhythm, it makes it even sadder because when it comes back, it's like, you know, it's a little touch of nostalgia, maybe remembering something that is now lost. And that's why. But this movement reminds me of the slow movement of his cello quintet.
Oh.
Do you know that piece? It's kind of similar.
So beautiful.
Dum, ba-da-da, dum, boom, ba-da-da, like kind of boom, boom, like just. He's
in the plucking, the pizzicatos.
Right. Yes.
Are this like inevitable pattern.
Yeah, he does like stillness really well.
Space and stillness and the energy between notes is like Schubert's specialty. Yeah.
Yeah, and as a kid, I always found like at music camp we would play the Schubert cello quintet, and the second movement everyone would worship it, and I always found it so boring. Yeah. I think I just wasn't mature enough for it yet.
Schubert's kind of like that. It's so ironic because he died at 31.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you're let's say you're 26 and, you know, you're trying to learn something, and some 75-year-old teacher is like, you're just not ready yet for Schubert. It's like, well, he composed it at 22. Like,
yeah. Right.
But he does have honestly, like, age is just a number. Like, the guy had a really mature soul, obviously, at a really young age. I mean,
right,
he had a profound wisdom.
Many people were dying in their 30s, so it was like,
true.
It's like inflation, you know, like $100 then is like, you know, so like 31 back then.
Oh,
that's at least what, 55 now, 60, still young though.
Yeah,
but
from our standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are just a few technical elements that make this give off that feeling of darkness and depression. We already touched on one, which is that, right? That is just like a clock or a heartbeat or something that is just like keeps it's there no matter what, even as this that melody, you know, this duet is happening above it, and then the pattern stays even when the key changes to the beautiful relative major. Oh, before I said A was the relative major. That's wrong. E is the relative major. I don't know why I said that. So there. You know. Okay, it's beautiful, but it's still the same person who's experiencing those things. So I like this idea of it being nostalgia or it being memory or something, where it's like that same person who's in this pit of despair, it's almost like floating by like a cloud, this vision of like beauty or hopefulness or light or something, right, that it's like you're still the same vessel experiencing it. And that gives even more weight to the darkness.
Well, because can you be depressed without memories?
I mean, like a dog's not depressed. Well, yeah, well.
I mean, it depends on your definition of depression, but part of it is like feeling some, at least for me, like when I'm the most depressed, it's like I feel disconnected from who I once was. And that's because I remember that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like looking at old anythings. I have to say.
Old anythings?
Like, I mean, like old memories on my phone.
I don't
like memories. Am I weird?
No, I don't like it either.
When people are, you know, oh, look at that. Oh, and that was 5 years ago. Oh my God. Like, I feel nothing but sadness when I look back on old. I just want to be present. I really do. I don't even want to think about the future either. I just want to be here, and I want this to be the most valuable thing there is, understanding that this is the only thing that really exists, like in some fundamental way. So when I look at, I don't have fond memories. I have people in my life who, okay, I might be grateful that it's reminding me of someone in my life, and I might call them then and there.
Right.
But the past is sad to me.
It's sad to me too. We have a lot of home videos from when I was a little kid. My brother just sent me this video of me when I'm maybe 4, and I'm like, I'm not gonna die. It's like it's kind of a sad video. But just watching any of that footage, I just start crying. I'm just like, oh, like no.
And it's not. I don't even want to define it. I don't even want to say, oh well, I'm getting older and that's why I'm sad. No, it's not even that. It's just, it is like an uncanny feeling to feel to displace myself from the reality of that and see, whoa, that was my reality then and this is my reality now. And I think it's just nauseating more than it is even sad. It's just like disturbing. I don't get it.
And it's only with technology that we can look back on photos. And I mean, I guess, people got paintings of themselves from when they were younger, but
there are other versions of it.
But it's almost like we're not meant to look back.
Yeah.
And
yet there is, a beautiful reality to the fact that exists as a state of being and as a human condition. Our ability for our consciousness to remember things and to be able to look back, to hold almost too much, in our hearts.
Right.
And that's why I brought up the dog, is like a dog, aside from trauma that it experiences, which is real, right? It can experience something from years ago. It can be kicked by its owner. And then all of a sudden, if you go to accidentally step on it, it freaks out because his body knows. His body is aware. And same with us. We think we're different, but our body remembers things from very, very, very young. Go ahead.
Right. Well, dogs, I don't know if they can be depressed, but also, have you ever heard a dog sigh? Like, you're just like, what is wrong with you? What's going on? There's an Onion headline, I think, dog sighs as if it needs to pay rent or something. Like, it's like,
yeah. What is that? There's something to the art of a dog sighing. There's something there.
Anyway, but generally, yes, the dog is living more in the present, I think.
Yeah. And so depression is not available to the dog because there's only, it's mainly present. It's reacting to smells and events and like that are happening now, and it's excited about those things. It's just stimulated by the present so much that it can't like get. It's really hard for a dog to get bored of you and then get depressed. If it gets bored, it just gets bored, and then it waits for you to do something, and then it's out of it. It just
right. You feel like that with your dog?
my dog is just like ready for action any second. It's just ready. Jack will whine, if something happens, he'll start whining if we're separated. It's more anxiety than depression.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Schubert. but I think we could make this about, nostalgia, or it could be, what often I find in Schubert is that it's tapping into some just universal truths where it's like, there is sadness, there is darkness, and just right on the other side of that, is the understanding that you can hold both right next to each other, and that you're never one chord away or one moment away from something that's lighter and happier or something that's really dark and despairing. Schubert does that better than anyone, and you get that especially in the return. So after we have this journey, I won't play the whole thing, but this isn't like, okay, let's change scenes and be happy now. This is like coming from the same depth. Something is emerging out of this darkness. That's why I feel like it's a little bit reminiscent of the stages of grief, where it's like it is grieving, but then how anger turns into acceptance and anger, denial and all these things. It's not one specific order, right? These stages can come at different times and in different orders.
They don't have to go in that order.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact order, but I know that it can be asynchronous.
Yeah.
But how one feeling emerges out of another and then becomes something different. And then this, so he hangs around this bright A major key for a while and actually sings. You know, we've got a song here. We don't have this depressed dirge of a duet happening. We have just a single voice. Clearly I don't play it, but eventually, you know, he's going to make his way. D major, now suddenly. Slowly but surely. Okay, that diminished chord isn't a good sign, right? He's such a master at reharmonizing the same notes of the melody. So this means something different than this. Means something different than this. You know, all the same, that B has gone through its own transformation in that time. Right? And before we know it,
there's so much recontextualizing the same notes in this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he does it even later too. Yeah, we're about to get to it. So he has this huge measure of rest. You mentioned patience and space, and then like we know what's coming. Mm-hmm. We just had a 5/7 chord. We know what we're about to experience. Except now the bass has a little more to say. Listen to this. And now we're in C major. I mean, somehow. Maybe this is how we're going to end the piece. In this hopeful ascent out of the depression we started in. Now, parallel major.
What do you make of that ending?
I think I haven't played that in a while.
You going through it right now?
No. I feel so different than when I got into this piece during COVID because I was depressed.
Yeah.
And it was a real cathartic piece for me, to feel the different shadings of the nuance of feeling, and it helped me see a different state of being. It helped me see the fluidity of emotion, which I needed to feel in the moment, as opposed to this block, that it can feel like a block in your stomach that's just always going to be there. Right. But it's like it needs to be massaged by things like art.
That's something I'll say, like when I'm depressed, I can't necessarily create anything, but I have maybe more of a need for certain art to consume it.
Yeah.
Like listening to a really sad piece can be really cathartic in those moments and actually comforting. Yeah. You think, oh, you want to listen to a sad piece when you're depressed, it'll make you more depressed. But it's like, no, it can help again, like massage or accompany you through those feelings.
Yeah. You need a listener.
Yeah.
And the music can be both. The music is a listener.
Yeah.
As well as a speaker, I guess,
right.
I don't know. It's like you're listening, but it's also listening to you, especially if you're playing it. I think that's what's so therapeutic about playing music, is you're talking to it, and you're creating, and you're listening. There isn't a separation between those things. Usually, if you have another person to help you through something, I'm an ego and you're an ego, and we're hashing it out, and hopefully we're both curious enough to be getting to some third thing that we both are like, wow, isn't that third thing just endless? It's endless. Right. What we can discover about the world, and we can help each other. But with music, there's no barrier. You're creating and listening and injecting, your own feelings and you're feeling, and it's just, I don't know. I never thought about it, actually, weirdly. Well, I've never really thought about it in these terms of just how those forces work together.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing you've ever said, is that the music is also a listener.
Yeah.
It's so feeling that right poetic. And,
Schubert, that's what gets me there.
Yeah.
Seriously. You asked me about this ending.
Because it feels, it feels like acceptance, actually.
Yeah. I feel this is what's so profound to me about Schubert's music, is just like, and there it is. There's evil and there's good. There's depression and there's joy, and there's all states of being. And he's not giving you an opinion about any of them. Mm-hmm. He's not helping you through the depression, like actively, like someone like Brahms might, where it's like, we gotta get together and fight, like, or even Beethoven's such a fighter, right? Like, I'm gonna use my music to come on, humanity. Schubert is like, he's a little more observational. In a way, he's more objective. He's just a little bit removed from laying it out on the table as if it's your problem, like his problems are your problem. And he's just saying, like, hey, isn't there this emotion? Isn't there that emotion? Isn't this just like wild, the human condition? Isn't it just absolutely wild? And to see it all and to hold it all is enough, to feel. And this finally, like this little kind of plagal idea, the four chord, is such a feeling of finality. And one more, and then like to end, it's like he's resting his head in the very last. It's like he's like looking up at the whole universe, those notes. I don't know. I'm over over poeticizing it probably, but like his music, especially toward the end, feels like it encompasses so much more than the individual, where it's commenting on how your individual experience and humanity connects to something way larger, and witnessing that can be an incredible release and relief, even in the most darkest parts of your life, and even in your dying years, your dying months, your dying weeks.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's enough for now. It's good to end. It's good to end on
acceptance.
Acceptance.
It's
all we, in the end, that's all we have. You know, is like we have to accept our states of being, you know?
Right. There's the sort of things you can't accept that you're always going to fight to change. But it's like the serenity prayer.
What's that?
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
Yeah.
Courage to change the things I can't. Accept the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can.
Yeah.
And the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah. Schubert in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, coming away from this podcast, I hope you all listen to this last piano sonata by Schubert, D960, B flat major, and the other movements are pretty different, but have similar themes. Of this is everywhere in Schubert anyway.
And if you're sick of the piano, the Schubert cello quintet,
one of the best pieces ever, the Schubert cello quintet,
and the slow movement of that, I feel like is a similar pacing and vibe to this.
Yeah. While we're at it, the slow movement of
the
second movement of the E flat piano trio is also, and the string quartet, the G major string quartet to me has that same quality. Really the last 4 piano sonatas also. And then also listen to all of Schubert. Okay, bye.
Bye.